your boy Sleepy J. You are tuned into the Know It All Sports Podcast. I am your host, Sleepy J, and my co-host over here is...
I am Coach Rudy, and we are live from the great state of Missouri in Kansas City, or not.
We're live somewhere.
We're live wherever you're listening to us.
All right, guys, we have a lot to go over, so brace yourselves. We got a lot of topics to cover, so get ready.
So, because you missed it, because you need it, because you really want it, we're going to start off with FS or BS.
All right.
All right. So,
BS.
first, the Lions will fail to win a game this year.
I'm going to say BS.
But they haven't won a game so far.
Yes. There's still a lot of season left.
But they keep losing.
Up
They even tied last week.
That's technically not a loss. It's not a win.
I didn't say that they would not keep losing. I said they wouldn't get a win.
How amazing would it be if they didn't and they just continued to tie from here?
That'd be pimp.
It would probably be a first in history for them to just...
Yeah, I think the most ties anyone's ever had is 3, maybe 4. So if they tied out, that'd be sweet.
All right, guys.
I think I know what I'm rooting for now. So you say BS?
Yes.
Is it just because the odds say that they'll win?
The odds say that they'll win, but also overall, I haven't heard a whole lot of issues as far as for their personnel getting injured or hurt or anything like that. So I kind of feel like that'll play in their favor as the season continues to go on.
Yeah, and the last game, somebody that they play might not have anything to play for, and they might just lay down.
Yeah. Or, as we always say, that we hate it, but a lot of teams will be like, well, we've solidified our spot. We don't worry about this, so they don't play as hard, and they allow it.
Or a COVID case might come up for somebody, and all of a sudden, it's their star quarterback or whatever.
Any given Sunday.
Yep. All right, cool. So I also say BS. But I put this question out there because I was looking at their schedule, and I thought, man, they could really realistically lose all of these games. But I'm going to say BS partially because I also picked them to win this week. All right. The Kansas City Chiefs are playing the Cowboys this week. Man, this is a real heavyweight battle.
Yes. But
is this a Super Bowl preview? For show or BS?
I'm going to say BS just because as it stands, I don't know that either Super Bowl team from last year is going to make it all the way. I think this is going to be, as we talk about, like every team or every few years you get a team that like takes the reign for 2 or 3 years. And I think this is going to be one of those years where we're like, oh, there's a new team that's in that top 3 games or 3 teams, be it the Cowboys take reign again and whatever other team. So,
yeah, so I'm going to have to say BS. And if you've been listening to our show, you heard me say a couple weeks ago that Kansas City is done as far as that they're no longer real. Now, a lot of the mainstream media have pointed out that they've won like 3 or 4 in a row, right?
Yeah.
And trying to say after they recently just beat the brakes off of the Raiders that they're back.
Yeah.
Well, part of my problem with this take is Kansas City beat a Packers team without their star quarterback.
Okay.
And they barely beat them.
Okay.
They struggled to beat a Giants team.
Yeah.
Who we know, as far as NFC East observers, Giants suck.
Yes.
So they're barely beating these teams, and yeah, they beat the Raiders pretty soundly, but the Raiders are also coming off of losing their star receiver. They came off of the high of getting rid of their coach.
Yeah.
That
was what I kind of attributed that to. Question I want to ask you real quick is, do you think for teams right now, beating Kansas City is their Super Bowl. Like, you remember how,
Of
like,
course.
in the 90s, we would say, like, everyone...
Of course. Teams are getting geeked up for the rate or for the Chiefs right now.
Yeah.
As they did for the Cowboys. So what I've seen over time is teams will get geeked up to face 4 teams.
Yeah.
They're going to get geeked up to face the Cowboys, regardless if the Cowboys are good or bad. Because if they're bad, this is their opportunity to rub it in.
Right.
If they're good, this is the opportunity to knock them down.
Okay.
So you're going to get, the Cowboys are always going to get every team's best effort. Except for Minnesota's a couple weeks ago because they were just awful. And even still, last week when they won by 40, they still probably got Atlanta's best effort. Just Atlanta wasn't very good last week.
Right.
Anyways, the teams that they will also get geeked up for is whoever won the Super Bowl,
Yep.
whoever lost the Super Bowl, and now the Patriots.
Yeah.
Because they want their shot at them. So those are the 4 teams. So if you're the Cowboys or the Patriots, you're getting everybody's best.
Yes.
And then if you were in the Super Bowl or lost in the Super Bowl, you're getting everybody's best.
Yeah.
And that's everybody.
And I think that's year in and year out, right? Like
Every year, yeah.
Like
so right now, the Chiefs are getting everybody's best.
Yeah. I would say that because of being lifelong Cowboys fans. Everybody hates the Cowboys or they love the Cowboys. It is what it is. So I feel like every team, they want to beat the Cowboys so they can say, see, we told you that you guys aren't a good team. And any other team, like the Patriots, I feel are the same because they've went to so many Super Bowls in the last 20
they've
years.
put themselves in that conversation.
And then, as we said, whoever went to the Super Bowl and won the last, since the Cowboys have gone, for the year or two that they're relevant, that's who everyone's,
Yeah.
I'm sure that in the coaching room, that's what they're telling their team. Like, these guys played the Super Bowl, so we're going to show them that we deserve to be there this year.
Exactly.
And that's how they hype up their team and get ready to go.
So the Chiefs are getting the best version of everybody.
Being the fact that they've been so good the last 4 years. It only makes sense.
The league has kind of caught up to them.
Yep.
And they've adjusted to finally be able to keep them in front of them.
Yeah.
But when we look at this Chiefs team, they got 4 losses already, right?
Yeah.
They have to win this game.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, they got 5 losses. They're 6-5.
Yeah.
And they only have 6 games left.
Right.
Even though their division doesn't have anybody running away with the title for it right now.
Yeah.
Kansas City can't afford to lose too many. They're going to give their absolute best because they're in that position and because it's the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But right now, the Cowboys are just, they're rolling, man.
Yeah.
So I don't think that this is a Super Bowl preview. Unfortunately for Patrick Mahomes, because I really like the dude.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're going to make it to the Super Bowl. I think they'll probably get bounced in the second round, if not the first.
Yeah.
Like the first round, they still might be off of their stuff, you know?
I would like to see them, but if I could, I'd still like to see the Cowboys go either way.
Yeah. So
I mean, obviously they're not the same, but yeah.
Third FS or BS. The Titans are the best team in the National Football League.
BS.
But they got the best record.
Yeah.
They're 8-2.
But they're also starting to miss key players, and they're also struggling. Like, again, I can't remember. They're struggling to keep the team
Look,
moving.
they don't have Julio Jones. They lost their second receiver. They don't have their star running back in Henry.
Right.
And when you are in that position,
yep,
when your team revolves around those dudes, you don't have much room for error.
Right.
And I don't think that Tennessee has any.
They got AB, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got Adrian Peterson. They got all day. But I don't believe that the Titans have the depth that it takes to be able to sustain this. Now, they got an easy game this week, so they might still get a win.
Yeah.
But to be honest, they're not that threat. Not without their running back. And not without Julio Jones. Even though Julio Jones didn't do much this year.
Yeah.
But they only have one stud receiver. And in this league today, one ain't enough.
That was part of the take that I heard in the power rankings. Was like, you're going to say Tannehill is going to carry a team all the way? Like, Tannehill from Miami is going to be...
Yeah, and Tannehill's been in the league forever now.
Yeah.
He's probably been in for 10 years. So it's not like he's a young guy.
Yeah.
He's never shown that he can do something like that.
I will say last year was impressive. Because I think I was like, wait, Tannehill's in Tennessee and they actually did decent? I was more shocked in that than in the idea that... So, yeah.
All right. So, next FS or BS... Trayvon Diggs will get at least one interception against Patrick Mahomes this week. Patty's thrown 10 this year so far.
I'm going to say for sure. Trayvon's done very well early in the season. And Mahomes has been a little sloppy this year. So I don't see why he couldn't get at least one.
Yeah, so I'm going to let you know. I really see Trayvon baiting him for 2. I think he gets 2, and I think the Cowboys pick off Mahomes 3 times this week. I think that's going to be the difference in why Dallas holds off the Chiefs and wins by double digits.
Okay.
And it's really... Diggs is that man. But, I think that the guy we got to watch out for is Anthony Brown.
Okay.
The other corner.
Yeah. Because
Diggs don't have the speed to keep up with Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
Anthony Brown might. That dude is fast.
Okay.
Like, he might... Tyreek Hill might be going for a touchdown, a 70-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
And then you see... Anthony Brown catch him, and it'll be Anthony Brown that Tyreek Hill is free.
Right.
But Anthony Brown, you might see him catch up to him. That's how fast this dude is.
Okay.
So keep an eye out for that. I realistically think that you're gonna get to witness Brown's speed. But yeah, Diggs, I got him for 2 picks this week.
Okay.
All right, now the big question. FS or BS, the New England Patriots will go deeper in the playoffs this year than the Bucs will.
I'm gonna go for show. I'm gonna go for show just because I think it's very important for Belichick. I can't emphasize that enough. Throughout this whole season, I've said I think it's a important season for him. I think it's starting to finally click the last few weeks. It's been, at least 3 or 4 weeks that I think that things have kind of been clicking for him. And
I think they've won 5 out of the last 6 games.
Yeah, so I just kind of see that being the telltale sign that they're not the team that you thought you were going to be able to run over this year. So, yeah.
Yeah, I got to say for sure as well. Look, honestly, there's a lot of people out there loving on the Bucs, and I get it. They won the championship last year.
Yeah.
But what I will remind you all is that they were 11-5 last year.
No one remembers that. No one ever brings up that point.
I know. They weren't beating everybody down last year. They had flaws in their games. They got holes. They barely got by Washington in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
You got teams who get to the Super Bowl by beating the brakes off of everybody in the playoff runs. That was not the Bucs last year.
Right.
The Bucks got there, and then they handled their business against KC. They dominated them.
And even
now,
that, I still think that was luck. Like, I don't even think they were.
yeah, they played them 10 times. You think KC gets at least 6 of them, right? 7
Yeah.
of them. Well, anyways, with that said, if you look at the standings, who's got what games left,
Yeah.
there's a very realistic chance that the Bucks end up with the 4th seed in the NFC.
Okay.
That's where they sit right now. If that's the case, they will host either the Los Angeles Rams, who already beat their brains in, or the Arizona Cardinals, who by that time should have a healthy Kyler Murray. So they're going to have to beat whichever team that is in the first round. One of those 2 teams will be facing them.
Yeah.
I don't know that the Bucks can do it. I don't know that they will do it.
Yeah.
Remember, they don't have injured players that you're saying, oh, well, Gronk will be back in a week.
Right.
No one knows when Gronk is coming back.
Right.
Brown, now he's mixed with this scandal of whether he had a fake COVID card or not.
Oh, wow.
And this team doesn't have its corners coming back. You haven't heard anything from them, oh, Sherman will be back this week or next. No, you don't know when any of their players are going to return. So when you're talking about, oh, yeah, they got injured players that will be back just in time for the playoffs, ain't nobody giving you any estimation of when these guys are coming back.
Right.
I think the Bucks go down. I think they get into the playoffs, and even if they run off wins the rest of the season, which I don't see happening, I count them for at least 1 or 2 more losses.
Okay.
And they don't get past the second round. Honestly, with the way the AFC is breaking down right now, I think that the Patriots go to the second or third round.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and it's not because of anything, but there's not anyone dominant right now. The one team that would have been dominant in the AFC lost their stud running back, and they're having to rely on Tannehill. So,
yeah,
I don't trust them. There's not a dominant defense. Buffalo isn't showing that they're consistent enough.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Buffalo falls. They don't win the division, and the Patriots end up winning that stupid division. So you want to talk about hot takes? That's my hot take right there.
I hope that just because we've said that we expected them not to make it this year, and they've done a decent job at least staying around.
Yeah. But I do like to be proven right.
Yes.
So, yeah, that was FS or BS, and if you don't like it, then get the hell out of here.
Yeah, well, we know we usually
just mute us and still listen to us. But
just give us the play.
Yeah. All right, before we get into stupid takes that I heard this week, there's a former NFL player who, I'll be frank, I didn't know who this guy was.
Right.
His name's Zach Stacy. He was a running back for the Rams and the Jets.
Yeah.
I think was drafted in 2013, and he played about 35 games in the NFL.
Yeah.
And there was a YouTube video, or not a YouTube video, a video circulating in social media where he was beating the hell out of his baby mama.
Yeah.
I mean, he beat her pretty good as far as he was throwing her around like a rag doll.
Yeah. Like, that's the polite way. Like, this looked like WWF, WWE wrestling type shit, the way he was throwing her around.
And so he's apparently being, there's a warrant out for his arrest. They're looking for him, can't find him. With the way people are these days, don't sleep on the idea that he ends up committing suicide because he knows how hot this is.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully that don't happen. But if it does, I'm not going to be shocked. This was damning video.
Yeah.
Does he deserve to get his ass whooped? Definitely.
Most definitely. I will say my take on initially watching it. I know it's going to sound bad, but first few seconds of watching it, you see it and you're just like, damn, he just threw her. But as it goes on and you just see like, oh, he's still going at it, you can't help but get a little bit upset and just be like, man, if I was there, I would have done something. Or just thinking like it's a really disturbing video to say the least. And I've seen some videos. The most disturbing part is that his kid's in the room and you can hear the kid in there crying. And the kid isn't old enough to be in the way.
Yeah, it's a baby.
But not obviously, but if you watch the video, you know obviously it's a little infant style baby, not a toddler that could get hurt in the process. But I was more or less surprised by the way the video was. Like, I didn't know where the kid was. I could just hear him in the video. Because at first I thought he was in the little walker thing until she got body slammed into it. So hopefully he wasn't, because she definitely demolished it.
Yeah. So there was audio to the video.
Yeah.
And it seemed as though he was upset because maybe she has another fella or was talking to somebody else. It seemed like it was a jealousy thing.
I thought it was a jealousy thing, but I thought it was more of like she said something to him about being in a relationship, but I don't know, that's what I kind of heard. That's what I thought it was. I thought he was attacking her because she maybe said something to his current girlfriend or something like that. But if that was the case, I hope his current girlfriend sees this video and knows
leaves his ass.
Yeah, knows to get the fuck away, because if he's doing this to his baby mother and you're just a girlfriend, you know.
Yeah, so on fellas, young men that I've coached in the past, I've actually talked to them about this type of stuff and said, look, if you're in a relationship that's abusive, because sometimes these young men are in relationships where the woman's the abuser, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, you don't want to stay, whether it's verbal or physical. I was like, you don't want to stay in that position, because the second that it flips and you go off,
yep,
like, you're going to ruin your life, your career, your potential.
Yep.
Because you're going to go to jail.
Yeah.
So if you're in a relationship where the woman really works your nerves, you need to get out of that.
If you know you have anger issues, and that when they push you to, oh, I can feel it going, you need to remove yourself.
And I'm not saying that that's what this woman did.
No.
I'm not trying to make her the victim. I'm
this
just saying
general statement
in
for
general.
people, yeah.
Because what happens a lot of times is young men don't like to think that that they're the problem. They don't want to recognize that they have anger issues.
Right.
So if you come at them, tell them, look, if you're in a position where you're dating someone and they're causing you to react in a certain way, then they have a better chance of accepting that and saying, oh yeah, it's her fault. And at least they remove themselves from the situation before they put themselves in a situation where they're making it worse.
So it's an interesting thing, because as I get older, I find myself learning from a lot of things that I've seen that I just accepted as to be normal. So domestic violence, though I did not come from a domestic violent home.
What are you talking about? Your mom beat the hell out of your dad.
I was not my mom and dad were gone by the time I was growing up.
Oh. Like your mom beat the hell out of your dad.
I've heard. But I didn't see, when I was little, my earliest memories.
That's when he did. That's when she did it.
My earliest memories were hiding under the table whenever they would argue, but I'd never seen any physical. The most I heard was my dad slamming his hand on a table, or my mom throwing a plate. But
I never heard of your dad hitting her. Look, for those of y'all that don't know, Johnny's dad could fight. He was a hell of a fighter. I'd never heard of him hitting Johnny's mom, but I did hear of her kicking his ass.
Yeah.
And that would have had to have been because he decided not to fight her.
Yeah.
But still, I heard of a few times of her whooping his ass pretty good.
Well, she also said she used to beat up her brother. So I don't know. And he was known for fighting too. So
I would have to guess that both of them decided not to strike her.
I'm sure.
But that said, she still wasn't afraid of him.
Yeah. Nonetheless, my point being was I didn't grow up seeing a whole lot of domestic violence in my household directly. I did see it through other people's parents and neighborhood things or whatever. But I always knew it was wrong. I never, but in society we say men should never hit a woman. And I can't preach this enough on any of my platforms that nobody should be hitting anybody. Quit saying that men shouldn't hit women because they're stronger. The fact of the matter is assault is assault. It doesn't matter if it's a guy hitting a girl or a guy hitting a guy or a girl hitting a girl. Assault is assault. It doesn't matter. And the sooner we can stop that stigma, the sooner I think a lot of this stuff would stop happening as often. Also, when you're looking at these cases, especially with like athletes in this sense, or even as kids, we were just talking off of air how a lot of mothers will tell, I don't care who puts their hands or hurts my kid, I tell them to defend themselves.
And a lot of single mothers say that.
Yeah. And that's where we start having these problems. And if we're going to start talking about how we're going to fix the world and start doing things better, this is how we start fixing those things and doing better. Stop telling if you're a single parent, stop telling your son, don't let anybody just hit you and, fight back or whatever. I'm not saying it's not okay to tell your kids to fight, but also let them understand when you do that,
there's real consequences.
Yeah.
Real world consequences to making those choices.
Yeah. You know what? And it's one of those things that I think about even in music. When there's a musician that just was killed, a rapper, Young Dolph, just got killed the other day. And I was just thinking about how, I always think about this, how rappers make all this money, and then all of a sudden one quick thought, they'll shoot somebody or they'll get into a fight, and now they're in court for these, assault, murder, whatever the case is, and they just ruined everything that they had worked their whole life for over ego, over being macho or whatever. And I always think that's a crazy thing, but I also realize that at the end of the day, we're also all men, and that's part of what...
Women aren't.
Well,
some of them are.
What's part of what stops, we're all people at the end of the day, and at some point we feel the need to defend ourselves, or we feel the need to prove that we're still, we're so tough. But I was like, it's just weird to think about how it's hard to shake those tendencies off.
Yeah, without knowing the details of what happened, I am only reacting to what I saw.
Yeah.
And what I saw was inexcusable.
Yeah.
I don't mean to say that he might not have felt that there was a good reason to do that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a good excuse.
I'm trying to find a reason that, like, nothing comes to mind that could be like, okay, to make it, in an involuntary in-moment situation.
Yeah,
like,
he thought about it. He was angry. And look, somebody's going to come out and say, look, he was a football player. He probably has CTE. And that's possible. Yeah. And aside from that, there's a million other mental disorders that could factor into it. And I don't know if he has them or doesn't.
Yeah.
That said, he whooped the hell out of that woman. Well, and she didn't. That shouldn't have happened.
Even if he does have CTE, there's a thing, talking to my brother, that him being an officer, saying that there's no excuses when it comes to the law when you're breaking it. Ignorance to the law doesn't
mean that you can get away with it. Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
So, even if he, does have some sort of CTE or some sort of mental disorder that caused him to be in that state of mind to do that, doesn't mean he's free of any legal.
Yeah, ignorance of the law doesn't make you innocent from the law.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a bad thing. Hopefully he is found and the law has a fair trial.
Yeah.
I don't want this man to be killed or anything. Now, if someone beats his ass, then hey, he kind of had it coming.
Yeah.
So, all right. Aside from that stupid item, now let's get to stupid takes that I heard this week.
Okay.
All right. One of them, and so this actually I heard the week before. The Cowboys, when they lost to Denver,
yes,
there was a point where they were down 30-0.
Right.
And something that I've heard repeated this week, but I heard it last week, was that those last 2 touchdowns that the Cowboys scored, that they didn't really count.
Yeah.
That's a very stupid take.
Very. But you go on to your points, and I will say my points for that.
Look, the Cowboys were down 30-0.
Okay.
And had they lost the game 30-0, then people would have said they got shut out.
Right.
Because they would have gotten shut out.
Right.
But the fact is that they scored 2 touchdowns.
Right.
So did they get shut out?
Nope.
No. And if they would have gotten shut out, it would have said some kind of record as to the last time the Cowboys got shut out. Look, the fact is that for 2 drives, the Cowboys finally got their stuff together, started getting in rhythm and showing, look, yeah, y'all beat us, but we can put something up.
Right.
You didn't really prove that you can shut us out. Why? Because you literally did not shut us out. Now, yeah, was the game out of hand already? Yes.
Yeah.
But the other team didn't just lay down.
Right.
The Cowboys went in and took 2 touchdowns.
Right.
They didn't lose by 30 points.
Right.
They lost by 14.
Right.
They weren't getting whooped by 30 points for 4 quarters. They were down by 2 touchdowns at halftime.
Right.
And then in the third quarter, the other team pulled away. Denver pulled away. I keep wanting to call them Detroit. Denver pulled away. And in the fourth quarter, once the Cowboys were down by 30, they made their little run and brought it into a more respectable score.
Right.
They played for 60 minutes. Both teams did.
Yeah.
You can't diminish the points.
Right.
When the Cowboys beat Philadelphia by 20 points.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anybody saying, well, yeah, but they really beat them by more. No, they literally beat them by 20 points.
Right.
So that's a very stupid take.
All right. Now, here's my point to this being a stupid take. When we're talking sports, especially football in particular, we always, say any given Sunday, any team could win, right? We also say the thing about quarterbacks, especially for me, I always say there's quarterbacks that you don't stop until that fucking clock strikes 0, because so long as there's time on that clock, you don't know what they're going to pull off.
You mean like when Peyton Manning came back from 3 touchdowns down with like 3.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter of a Monday Night Football game? You mean like that type of shit?
Yeah, like Tom Brady in the Super Bowl coming back from
28-3 deficit? You mean that?
Yeah. And nobody said anything about that either.
Yeah, people weren't saying, well, I don't even know why he's out there trying.
Yeah.
He's already down.
Yeah. I mean, we all did laugh at him, but as he started coming back, we were like, oh, shit, he's going to fucking do this, isn't he? And he slowly started chipping away. So, yeah, when, me being the boxing person, if you watch boxing and somebody gets knocked out in the last fucking 30 seconds, do you say, oh, shit, he was getting his ass kicked all fucking 12 rounds, and then the last 30 seconds, well, that knockout doesn't count because
Exactly.
It doesn't count. He got his ass kicked for 12 rounds until that last 30 seconds. Like, doesn't matter. You know the difference when you're looking at those 16 points, let's say, 4 minutes that he came back to those 16 points? In 4 minutes, in football especially in particular, okay, those 2 touchdowns happen. Let's say an onside kick happens. They get the ball back one time. Let's say you still recover it as the receiving team. You fumbled it as you were trying to take a knee or something like that, and they get a recovery that way. There's so many little factors into how a game can be switched over.
Because look, if the Cowboys get that onside kick that they had after they scored that second touchdown, do you not think that Denver gets nervous?
Right.
They're just thinking, oh, shit, they just scored twice in no time.
And then
what's going to happen?
And if they went for another 2 point in that moment, then what happens? Now
that's 24 points. And
you're down by 6. And then guess what happens? You get
another onside kick. Or,
Well, say you recover the ball, and then you throw a pick or you didn't fucking get the handoff the way you thought you were going to get it off, because that happens in the NFL. Someone overhikes the ball. Someone dropped the ball on the hike. Guess what happens? Somebody recovers it, runs it back. Guess what? Game's tied.
Nothing's guaranteed. Do you remember that time that Pittsburgh with Jerome Bettis, they were in the playoffs. Jerome Bettis fumbles the ball at the 1 yard line. The other team picks it up, takes it back for a touchdown or something like that.
No, I don't remember it. But
so he was about to go in. They're about to really take the lead, and then all of a sudden it looks like they're going to lose. Well, Pittsburgh ends up coming back again and winning that game.
Right.
But when you've watched as much sports as we have, you've seen virtually everything happen.
Yeah.
And
now, also, everything's not, all those things don't necessarily guarantee to happen. Those are highly unlikely situations, but they still happen. There's the new rule. It's not new anymore, but it's been in play for a few years now. Whereas if you can block the field goal and take it back for a touchdown, you get the points.
You get 2 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a thing that it's happened, I think, once since it's been the rule.
Every few years, but yeah. Yeah, and so this is just a stupid take. So, all right, let's go to another stupid take. This one you brought to me. It was Canelo going to cruiserweight will be a mistake.
Yeah.
Talk on it.
So the idea is that the cruiserweight division is now, I think it's the 200, or no, it's just like 180 to 200 pounds is the...
Light heavy?
Is that light heavy? So cruiserweight's the next one up. He's already fought in the light heavyweight. So going up to cruiserweight, they're saying that that's a heavier... He's going to have to gain 20 pounds to fight, which my argument to anyone... Well, I was talking to someone in particular that gave me this. They were arguing that that's a lot of weight for him to go up and fight in. Now, for me, knowing Canelo, is when he fought Floyd 6 or 7 years ago, he had to drop down to 154. He came in fighting at 174 that night. His walk-around weight typically is around 175 to 180. So for him to go up, I don't feel is hard. Now, what I do say with him going up, it's more of a challenge of his chin, more so than his power. Because I feel like he's going to lose his power that he's had over the lower weights, which is something that fighters do, is you fight lower than what you really are because you can have the extra power that makes the difference in a fight. Him going up makes his power a little bit more even with his opponents, but what should still transfer over really, really well for him is stamina and speed. The challenge will be, can his chin handle being hit by somebody that's equal or stronger than him? But his skill level, I've been watching some videos talking about how he's an anomaly because after each and every fight, you can see whenever he had something that he wasn't as good at, he takes that on in the next fight, like, oh, this person did this well, or they were really good at doing that, so let me try and adapt to doing that. And you start to see those little things that make him a little bit better each fight.
Look, we were saying Canelo's the pound-for-pound best boxer in the world.
Yeah.
And what better way of finding this out?
By going up to a fifth division? Yeah. And that's the other thing that I said. I said, even if he's fighting for legacy. At this point, we haven't seen a fighter go up and down weight divisions since Sugar Ray Robinson, I believe it was.
Yeah, not look, you've had some guys do it
for like 2 or 3, but not like it's such a big
really
range.
To this extent.
Yeah,
like you had some guys try. Like what was his name? Roy Jones.
Yeah,
did it, but his was a farce. He was playing when he got to the heavyweight division.
Well, Roy Jones also was going up in weight as he was getting older versus.
Yeah, and he also wasn't as good as he was going up.
Yeah.
Like, it was showing.
Yeah.
Every level that he went up, he didn't have what he had in the lighter. He wasn't as successful. Like, even when he was getting his wins, you knew it was against cherry-picked opponents. And when he got Hopkins took him down. And then he had, 6 straight losses or something. But,
One thing about Canelo that I love, but I hate about him, is the fact that he's not afraid to take the loss. I love that he's willing to fight people for just the sake of saying, hey, this is a dangerous fight. I want to prove that I can beat you. And he's literally fighting for legacy. He wants to be known as one of the best boxer to have ever been in the ring. And the only way you can do that is to be the best. You got to beat the best. And he's not running from anybody that I've seen. If they're a worthy opponent, he's willing to take them on. I know when I seen him do the light heavyweight fight, I was a little bit concerned just because I was like, man, it's dangerous. Now you're starting to get into real heavyweight. I don't know that he can handle those hits. I'll even admit, I think that light heavyweight fight wasn't as impressive because he didn't show his power. Obviously he has power, but it didn't look as impressive against a person that could absorb those hits. So him going to a cruiserweight, it is going to be a challenge. But I think where he'll shine is he knows how to win by points.
Yeah, but also when you look at him, you can tell his body is that body style that can take the weight.
Yeah.
Because there's some guys who don't have it.
Yeah.
You can tell, that's not a body that's built to carry it.
Yeah.
His body style is one of those body styles that can do it.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah, because when you see him at 153, you look at him and man, he looks really small, but he can still be a small person.
Yeah.
And then when you see him walking around at 175, you're like, that looks about normal for him.
Yeah, he's got broad shoulders. Got good sized chin. He's got
muscle to him.
Yeah.
So to those that are worried about him pushing it beyond his limits, I think you're really going. You're not really paying attention to the skill level, and I also don't think that he's jumping in with anybody too crazy either. Going up right now. I don't know anyone in that. He's still the draw. It's not even this guy's a dangerous person for him to go up against. So
yeah. All right. So another stupid take. Leonard Fournette is a great running back, and I didn't throw this one at you because this was one that I was hearing that Zeke hasn't been playing well the last 5 weeks. That's what I heard.
Okay.
And then I also heard that Tampa Bay is dangerous because Leonard Fournette is still a great running back.
Okay.
I think these go hand in hand. And I say that because it's a stupid take for you to say that Leonard Fournette is still a great running back. I was looking, and he's got the 35th best stats for running backs this year.
Yeah.
He's not doing great. He's doing an okay job. Honestly speaking, Leonard Fournette, for a 3-4 year span, was a great running back.
Okay.
He was legitimately a really good running back. Then he started getting injured. And that took it away.
Yeah.
Because for 3 straight years, I drafted him in fantasy football, and he was getting hurt, and it was killing me. He's not getting hurt, but he's not as productive as he used to be. You can't call Leonard Fournette great. All right, sorry about those technical difficulties. Look, what I was saying is you can't call Leonard Fournette great and then say that Zeke is an average running back. Right now, Leonard Fournette has 486 yards for the season. Tony Pollard the Cowboys' backup running back, who's only carried the ball 83 times, is ranked 22nd. That's immediately after Leonard Fournette with 445 rushing yards.
Right.
Ezekiel Elliott is 4th in the league in rushing with 663. So when you're looking at these guys and you're trying to say that Zeke has had a bad last 5 games, and that means that he's just an average running back. An average running back isn't ranked 4th in the league.
Right.
I'm sorry, it's not.
No, when you're talking average, I'd imagine you're talking somewhere in the 10, like past 10.
Yeah.
The teens.
Yeah, when you're talking about 11, 12, 13, yeah. 14, 15, that's when you're talking about average, right? So when you're in the top 5 rushing, you're not just another running back.
Right.
When you see what he can do, when you see that, what was it, last week we told you that he hit 7,000 yards for his career rushing. The week before that he hit 9,000 all-purpose yards.
Right.
Look, in the last 5 games, he hasn't hit 100 except for against the Giants. He had 110.
Right.
But he's doing what the team needs him to do.
Right.
That means they're giving him fewer than 20 carries. He's still getting his yards. He's gotten a couple of touchdowns. He's getting the ball as far as he's receiving.
Right.
You know? So he's doing what's asked of him. He's getting paid already, so he don't need to get all these 100-yard games for him to prove himself. But yet he's still 4th in the freaking league.
Yeah.
And these idiots are calling him average.
Yeah. It's one of those things, if you have to be overly exceptional as a Cowboy, because if you aren't constantly beating it in their face, they're still gonna, like, I don't know, they love to hate you, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And then they love to give credit to guys who are average on other teams.
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette was once great.
Yeah.
I accept that. I am fine with that statement. To tell me that Tampa Bay offensively is in the same league with the Cowboys, when they have a Leonard Fournette as their starting running back, they're not.
I wouldn't say that he is a great running back, Leonard Fournette, but I wouldn't say that he was a wash either. Like, I wouldn't say that you can count him out. He's not, the fucking guy that we were just talking about.
You're not going to sleep on him.
Yeah.
You're not. But at the same time, you can't tell me that he's freaking great. He's no longer great.
No, that's not what I'm... Yeah. For sure. I'm just saying, you're not counting him out. We're not saying that he's not a good
I would like a Leonard Fournette on my team.
Yeah.
Like that's a legitimate running back.
Yeah.
And you know his stats are nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah.
That said, he's freaking 21st.
Right.
Our backup in Dallas is 22nd.
There you go.
All right, so those are a couple stupid takes. Another stupid take. The Packers' shutout over Seattle was dominant.
Yes.
That game had a 3-0 score in the fourth quarter.
Right.
That means Seattle kept the Packers to 3 points through 3 quarters. And yet it was a dominant win by the Packers in a snowy game.
Right.
Where Russell Wilson is coming back after missing, 4 or 5 games?
Yep.
Because of a broken finger?
Yep.
And yet the Packers were dominant. In a game in which Aaron Rodgers threw 2 picks in the first quarter, they were dominant.
Right.
That's just stupid.
Yeah, I mean, and that, again, you're going to call that dominant, but you're going to say coming back in the fourth quarter, the last 4 minutes is not a good...
it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Here's even worse. So the Packers winning 17-0
yes.
was dominant, right?
Yeah.
But somehow the Cowboys winning by 40 points. 40 points against a Falcons team who has a better record than that Seattle team.
Right.
That was not a big deal. Because the
Yeah.
Cowboys were supposed to beat the brakes off of them.
Yeah.
How is it that any NFL team is expected to win by 40 against any other team?
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw Vegas favor an NFL team by 40 points?
I can't say that I have.
Exactly. It's not normal. So
No.
when the Cowboys beat the life out of the Falcons,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, well, you're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
My freaking God, that's stupid.
Yeah, that's also the I mean, the Falcons haven't been a good team, and yet, maybe the idea should have been you're expected to beat them. Maybe that's a thing,
Yes.
but not by the like. There's a thing where, again, me and you talk about, like, when they let off. I hate once they get a lead, they want to start letting off the gas and say, well, it's unsportsmanlike after a certain point.
Yeah, look, I was hoping Cowboys got to 50, but they decided the fourth quarter to put in Cooper Rush, and obviously Cooper did what Cooper does, which was nothing.
Yeah.
And they also sat Zeke, and they sat Pollard, and they sat a lot of guys.
Yeah.
So it was like the third string in there offensively.
Yeah.
So they didn't do anything. But this was I don't know if you ever listened to Marcellus Wiley and who is it, Acho?
Yeah. I watch them sometimes.
So these idiots, and when I'm saying these idiots, I'm really talking about Acho. Acho, you an idiot. And if you ever want to come face to face and act like you're a tough guy or whatever, come find me. But I am going to charge you for me having to whoop your ass. So, anyways, so Acho is saying that the reason Kansas City is going to beat the Cowboys this week is because Patrick Mahomes had a better game last week than Dak Prescott. Okay? So, last week, Patrick Mahomes and his Kansas City Chiefs, they put up a lot of points.
Yeah.
You know how many points they put up?
How many?
41.
Okay.
How many points did the Cowboys put up?
40.
43. They won by 40.
Oh.
Cowboys put up 43. Okay? But the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes threw 5 touchdowns passes.
Yeah.
Okay? So because he threw for 400 yards and 5 touchdown passes, that he obviously played better than Dak Prescott did the week before. So the week before, when Dallas won by 40 points.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott, in 3 quarters, because he didn't play in the fourth.
Right.
In 3 quarters, he threw for 296 yards, 2 touchdowns, and ran 1 in. So he got 3 touchdowns in 3 quarters.
Yeah.
And he won by 40 points.
Right.
He scored more points than did Patrick Mahomes. But yet Patrick Mahomes is going to win this game because he threw for 5 touchdowns and 400 yards in their last game.
Yeah.
Tell me that it's not stupid.
Well, that is stupid because the thing that no one like. Yeah, I give Mahomes all the props. Everyone knows I'm a Mahomes fan. He is
Mahomes is a great quarterback.
Yeah, I would argue him being the best quarterback in the league. But the other side to this game that people aren't realizing, and you can say what you want about the Cowboys defense. One thing though, like nobody is afraid of Kansas City defense.
Nah. There's nothing to fear of it.
Yeah, so you might fear the offense of Kansas City, but you're not worried about that defense. And you might not want to admit that you're worried about the Cowboys defense. And if you're not, you should be. When you have somebody that's picking off quarterbacks throughout a good portion of the season, you should definitely be worried about that.
All right, let me throw some numbers at you. Dak Prescott this year has only thrown the ball 286 times.
Okay.
Out of those 286 times, he's had 201 passes completed.
Okay.
2,341 yards. Okay?
Okay.
Patty Mahomes has thrown the ball 412 times.
Sheesh.
Completed 271.
Okay.
There's over 100 incomplete passes in there.
Yeah.
Okay? 130, 140. 140 incomplete passes. And only 70 more complete passes than Dak.
Right.
All right? He's got about 600 more yards than Dak. 2,940 to 2,341, right?
Yeah.
Patty Mahomes has thrown 25 touchdowns. 10 picks.
Right.
That's a plus 15, right? Dak threw 20 touchdowns, 5 picks, plus 15.
Okay.
Okay? Zeke has 663 yards. Their leading rusher, Williams, has 343. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah. That means Pollard has more rushing yards than their leading rusher.
Yeah.
Okay? So, what does that tell you about the Kansas City offense? That they don't run the ball.
Not at all.
Right? So, it tells you that part of the reason Dak don't have as many passing yards is because he don't need to.
Right.
Because they're running the ball.
And Dak even said he didn't want to throw the ball that much. He was like, the team's not doing what it's supposed to if I have to throw the ball that much.
Exactly. Now, one more thing. Their leading receiver, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Some are going to be impressed by the fact that he's already caught 75 passes.
Yeah.
And that's an impressive number, right?
Yeah.
When you think about it, because there's 7 more games left for him? So he can have every bit of 130 receptions at this pace. And he has 855 yards. Okay?
Yeah.
Those are really good numbers, right? CD Lamb has 726 yards. So 120 yards less.
Right.
47 receptions.
Okay.
47. That's 28 freaking reception difference.
Right.
28 fewer receptions and only 120 yards less. It's not going to take him 28 receptions to get the same amount.
No. And that's the other thing is like you pay attention to how much they're spreading that ball out. Like, because all of the offense has good stats.
Yeah. Yeah. Amari
Running.
Cooper. Look. What was it? First, Cedric Wilson for 3 weeks was looking like a stud, you know?
Right.
And now that you got Gallup back, but then Schultz was putting up more numbers than Kelsey was at one point.
Right.
And what I'm trying to show is just that it's ignorant if you only look at stats from one perspective and you don't compare what happened. Dak don't have to play the fourth quarter of last game for them to put up 43 points.
Right.
And you're discounting his effectiveness because his team was up by 40 after freaking 3 quarters.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's just stupid.
As we said, there's the Cowboys that you guys want to sit there, either you love or you hate. And that's just further evidence whenever you have that. Like, there's no reason for you to be counting them out already by so much.
Yeah. There's a lot of stupid people out there.
Henceforth, why we came up with the segment.
So, look, I'm going to tweet out the picks for this week.
Uh-huh.
So, right now, though, I am going to mention the games that we differed in who we think is going to win.
Okay.
All right. So last week I went 9-3. You went 7-5. I gave each of us a win for that tie.
Okay.
I didn't count that as a loss, but that was our record for last week. We still will let y'all know when we get the chip in, so we can do that chip challenge, and so Johnny can suffer. So we differed in the Colts versus the Bills. I'm taking the Colts.
Okay.
You got the Bills. Bills are playing at home. Bills are favored by 7. I'm actually taking the Texans. I know I said I was going to pick against the Texans all year.
Season, yeah.
But I'm taking the Texans to pull the upset over the Titans. Not that I'm hating on the Titans. It's just a simple idea that the Texans are going to sneak in another win more than likely.
Yeah.
And I think that the Titans, this is a game that they could drop just by sleeping on the Texans. And that's really what it is. The Titans are a better team.
Yeah.
But I think they might be sleeping on them.
Yeah. Might not hold it as be important for this team.
Yeah. You took the Packers over the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Packers have, they struggled to beat Seattle. I know people are saying it was a dominant win because it was 17-0, but they struggled against Seattle. They really did. And they're going into the Vikings, a divisional game. I think the Vikings really are trying to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they need this win. I think they're going to steal it. Once again, divisional games doesn't mean that just because you won, you're the better team.
Yeah.
But I think the Vikings steal it. You obviously don't. You want to talk on the Packers on it, or?
I know that this typically I hold Rodgers as being like I just don't go against Rodgers. Yeah. But honestly, this season Rodgers isn't an X factor that he normally is. It's very much the whole team as a whole. Defense is slightly better than the offense, in my opinion, for the Packers. But Rodgers is still Rodgers. He hasn't been himself as of late.
Look,
for an MVP of last year, he's not doing as well.
I'm going to say it this way, man. And I know you might disagree because you do tend to lean towards Rodgers. How many championships Rodgers have?
He's got one.
How many Super Bowls has he been to?
7.
I'm not talking about as a spectator.
He's got one.
Okay. There is something that makes people talk about Rodgers like if he always makes the comeback and he always gets the win.
Right.
He obviously doesn't if he's only been to one Super Bowl.
Right.
I do not ride his jock like the rest of the world does.
Yeah.
And it really has a lot to do with the fact that, do I think he's been a great quarterback? Yeah. I think he had a good 2-3 year stretch where his talents were not matching up to what his previous skill showed.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was just basic foundational problems that he had never corrected. And he subsequently has. He's made those adjustments. And so that's why he looks like the Rodgers of old again. But that said, how many championships he won?
He's only got one, man.
Okay, so then why is it that so many people think that this fool can't lose? Stephen A. says he's a bad man. Yeah, he's a bad man that made it to the Super Bowl once, won once. And why are we acting like this fool is Peyton Manning, is Tom Brady, is freaking Troy Aikman, Terry Bradshaw? Dude ain't in their league, man.
It's more about
because he's upset the Cowboys a couple of times.
He's consistent.
He's consistent in not getting to the Super Bowl.
A lot of people are at that.
Exactly. So why do we ride him as though he's the second coming of Jesus when in his 14-year career he's made it to how many championships?
I put it like this: it's like whenever the Blues were always going to the fucking playoffs, you knew you had to get through the Blues to get to the championship.
Okay, but that means that people get through him.
Yeah.
Just like people got through the Blues.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying people want to pretend like Aaron Rodgers is, oh man, you can't beat Rodgers. Oh, I hate to face Rodgers. Why? Because he's going to lose sometime in the freaking playoffs. How do I know this? Because he gets to the playoffs, and what does he do?
Well,
what does he do?
He's got to get to the playoffs, which means throughout
he gets
the
to
season,
the playoffs.
So that means throughout the season, he's got to beat you.
In the regular season.
Yeah.
And what happens in the playoffs?
Well, he makes a run for it.
And what happens?
He doesn't make it.
Okay, so that's why I don't have that fear of Rodgers that everyone else does. Because in my perspective, I know he's great.
Yeah.
But I also know he's not the boogeyman.
No,
he's not that man that, man, you can't beat him. Because everyone beats him.
Well, not the Cowboys.
Hell, the Cowboys ain't beat very many people. They've got 3 playoff wins in like 10 years.
That's why I am.
Okay, so if you're the Cowboys fear him, I get it. But anybody else? Really? Why?
Just a talented quarterback, man.
He's a talented quarterback, yes. But I'm saying though, cuz.
That's it.
But why does his myth live so large?
Because he's a talented quarterback.
But he doesn't have the results.
Because people will give him, they give him the grace that they don't give most quarterbacks, honestly. Whenever you look at a quarterback, like, oh, well, this quarterback's bad because he didn't pull off a win. When Rodgers doesn't, they'll be like, oh, well, you know, Jones is out, so-and-so's hurt, so-and-so.
So they make excuses for him.
Yeah. I don't know why they do, but they give him the grace that other quarterbacks don't get whenever you be like, well, he didn't have all of his... Like, nobody gave Kansas City...
Tony Romo that credit.
No one gave Kansas City...
Even though Patrick Creighton... And I hate you, Patrick Creighton, because you talk shit on Tony Romo when you're the reason he didn't get further in the playoffs because you dropped that damn pass.
Yeah, so...
Hate you.
But yeah, that's why.
Look, I get it. He's a great quarterback. And I've seen his greatness, right?
Yeah.
But I can't side with the man. Put everything else aside.
Yeah.
Dude's flat out has not made it to the championship as often as people like to pretend he has.
No, I mean, for me, like I said, he's not the X factor that his team is playing well, and he's just aiding in that win.
Look, Brett Favre won more MVPs than him.
Yeah.
Brett Favre made it as more Super Bowls than him.
Yeah.
I just look. People are in love with the dude. And it's not even like he's good looking. He's ugly, and he's stupid. He's stupid. He's ugly, and he loses.
His mama dresses him funny.
Yes, have you seen his clothes? That's what needs to be the title of this podcast this week. Aaron Rodgers is stupid. He's ugly, and his mama dresses him funny. All right. Anyways, so Saints and Eagles. I'm actually taking the Eagles in this.
Yeah.
Talk to me about why you took the Saints.
Honestly, it's an NFC thing. I don't want the Eagles to win. The Saints, NFC. Sorry.
Yeah, I got you. I knew what you were talking about.
But and the Saints, honestly, I don't know that they're like. To me, it's a wash. I don't see either one of them.
They're really the epitome of a 500 team, aren't they?
Yeah.
The Saints.
Yeah. So.
Which you can't have this year unless they get a tie.
Yeah. So I'm just going with them because I'm being hopeful that they can pull it off. Because I'd rather them win over Philly winning. I mean, it's not. There's so many factors that are going on with the Saints to be like, oh man, I don't know. It's just so much little things like the players, the personnel that's there. so much in question for them. Uh, Honestly, man, I expected them to have this kind of a season. Actually, I expected worse of a season than this, just because of
Yeah,
Drew Brees being gone.
they're doing better than I expected them to. That said, I won't doubt the Saints win.
Yeah,
Something's telling me to pick the Eagles on this. And look, most of the time when I pick an NFC East team that's not the Cowboys, I am disappointed by the fact that I picked them
yeah,
because they'll usually blow it. Like,
yeah.
the one time I start buying into you, you lose. But
I mean, both teams, like
look,
I said, they're both.
I think this is a coin flip game.
Yeah,
It should be close.
yeah,
If there is a blowout, I find it hard to believe that the Saints can blow anybody out. They haven't shown me that this season.
no,
I could see Philly blowing them out, but not because they're that much better than them. Just because I think Philly does have the potential to be explosive. But I think this will be a close game.
yeah. I mean, it comes down to the game plan. I mean, are you relying on an arm? Or are you relying on a run?
Yeah.
And I think if you're relying on the run and the Saints, you could edge them out. But again, it's still it's a coin flip. It either or could win, and I wouldn't be surprised by the win.
Speaking of coin flips, 49ers and Jags. We went different ways. I'm taking the Jags again.
Yes.
You got the Niners.
Yes. I went with the Niners. Debo Samuels.
I ain't mad at you. Like, I don't even know why I'm taking the Jags at this point.
Yeah.
Look, I know that I said the Jags are going to win 5 or 6 games. I think it's just because I think this is a close enough game that the Jags could take, and the fact that they're playing at home.
And yeah, honestly, I could see this one going either way. I'm not overly impressed. Even with the 49ers, they have a little bit of a better record.
Yeah, even though they beat the Rams this last week,
Yeah.
this isn't by far a game that either team is guaranteed to.
This is very
play
easily.
well.
This is very easily the upset. I think the easy win is, or the easy way to go is to go with the 49ers. But would I be completely surprised that the Jags were able to pull off this win? No, because again, at this point, they're just they can go all out, and as long as they continue to go all out, a win will be impressive.
Wow, I didn't realize this. So Garoppolo
Yeah.
has thrown for 1,936 yards,
Yep.
and Trevor Lawrence
Yeah.
for Jacksonville has thrown for 1,983 yards.
Well, see there.
Garoppolo has thrown it about 100 times less. But yeah, same amount of yards.
Oh, that's the other thing. Kittle's back too, so that makes it even more of a threat for 49ers, like, to be better.
Now Debo's going off. 54 receptions, 979 yards, 5 touchdowns. I don't think anybody's had that type of stat line since Jerry Rice in like 89.
Yeah, Kittle just came back from the IR, so I think a week. This is the second week back, so just moving forward, it's just another threat.
So something working against the Jacksonville squad that I picked. I forgot that their leading running back,
Yeah,
Robinson, is dinged up, and so is their leading receiver. They're both hurt. The reason I know that they're both hurt is because they're on my fantasy squad and they're listed as questionable.
Yeah.
So I actually benched them both.
Debo's questionable too.
Yeah, but Debo's playing. He's
Yeah,
a baller, man.
yeah,
But yeah, so I think the Jags can take the Niners because I think the Niners are that team that in 16 game season are 7-9, 6-10,
yeah,
and so right now they're 4-5,
yeah.
and I think you can beat that type of team even if you're a bad team.
Yeah, and that's why I said it's very easily a coin flip. It could be no one expected the Jags to come out and do as well as they do. It could very easily be the 49ers overly confident in the fact that it's a team that they should beat, and they make a lot of little dumb
coming
mistakes.
off of a big win.
Yep.
And then kind of letdown game.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are the picks. I'll put the rest of them up on Twitter, so you guys can see what our official picks are this week, and then I'll also post what our record is for the season.
Okay. If you would like to follow us, please do follow me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram at SleepyJ, SLEEP_E_J. You can follow Coach Rudy at
Rudy V 1982, RUDYV 1982. That's on Twitter. If you follow me in real life, it's kind of boring. I don't really do much. But I will talk shit to you because that's what I do.
Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Help people find the podcast. It always helps us be seen more. We see our numbers going up, so we appreciate each and every single one of you guys for checking us out.
And if you're in Kansas City, give us a shout out because we're here to watch the Cowboy game or something to that effect.
And with that said, guys, I'm out.
Peace.